Shiny, do one thing. Scroll through all the slides of the PPT so that the images load up.
Okay, is it visible, right? It's visible,
Yeah,
right?
it's visible.
Hello?
Yeah, it's visible.
Oh, Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, you are audible.
Yes,
Should
yes,
we
you are
start this
audible.
session? Okay. So,
Yes, start now.
yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome. First of all, I am Shiny Ghosh, and I will be taking today's Python Day 2 session. So, are you guys excited for this? Please comment down in the chat
Yes.
box or
Yes.
okay, great. Thanks for responding. So, let me tell you first, before beginning the session, what we are going to cover today. We are going to cover basically three main topics. First one will be functions, second one will be classes, and the third one will be GUI in Python, that is graphical user interface. So, as I'm already presenting my screen, I hope it's visible to you all. Is it visible? Can anyone please?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I will be presenting the screen, and so yeah, let's begin the session. So firstly, what are functions? Okay, the very first topic is functions. So what are functions? Anyone, any guesses from the crowd? You can comment in the chat box or you can unmute your mic. What are functions? Anyone, any guesses? Okay, so let me explain it to you. What are functions? Functions are firstly nothing but a block of code. So it's firstly a block of code, and whenever we call this block of code, it will perform a specific task. Okay, guys? So what this function will actually do is, it is firstly a block of code. So whenever we call this block of code, it will perform a specific task. So now this is the basic definition of function, what a function, the basic concept of a function. So now let's go, and I hope you all have your editors with you, the PyCharm editor, as we already mentioned as a requirement. Do you all have that PyCharm editor?
Yes.
You can code with me, or this is already I have already written the code here. So you can also code with me, or you can listen to this, and I will be providing you with the PPT and the code, so you can experiment on it later. So let me explain to you how to define a function. So this is how we define a function. Okay, guys. So firstly, what do we need to do? In defining functions, we are naming the function as func. So this is a basic function. Firstly, we need to write the def keyword. Okay, this def keyword is the first thing that you need to write. After that, we need to write the function name. What is the function name? Function name can be any valid identifier name. Okay, so any valid identifier name can be a function name. So here the function name is func. After that, we write parentheses and then we put a colon. So this is the very first line of function definition. So now on the next line, I hope you all can see there is an indentation or a tab here. So this is the function body. I think you all can see, right? This is the function body. I have selected. Yeah, so this is the function body. So now why are we providing the indentation? So the indentation or the tab is what making the interpreter know where we have defined the function and how long the function is defined. So whenever we are breaking the indentation, suppose these two lines are not indented. So the interpreter knows that these two lines are not part of the function and these three lines are. So this is the function body. Now inside the function body, what are we doing here? We are firstly printing hello devs. And on the next line, yeah guys, if you have anything, any doubts or anything, please speak up, unmute your mic, or you can put down your queries in the chat box. So now let's continue. So on the next line, we are printing hi here. First, we are printing hello devs, then we are printing hi. So on this, what the function will actually do. So this is its job to do whenever we call it. On the third, we are giving something here, return 1. Okay, round one. What is it? What is this mean? This statement is called as a return. What a return statement does is it actually returns back a value. So the value can be anything, any list, any dictionary, any string, any number. So here I am returning the value 1. So whenever we call this function func, we will get the return value as 1. Now this is the function calling line. Okay, we are calling the function here. So how to call a function? We just write the function name and then mention parentheses. So this is the function calling. What will happen when we call the function? Anyone? Anyone from the crowd? Can you tell me what will happen when we call the function? Guys, please be interactive. I really am excited for this session.
It will print hello Daves and hi.
Hello?
Yeah, it will print hello
Yes,
Daves and hi.
exactly. It will print. Yeah. Thank you, Ashutosh. So this function calling will print hello devs on the first line and then it will print hi. Now it is also returning the value 1. So what will happen to the value 1? This line of code is for that. When we are getting the return value 1, we are actually storing it inside the variable val. So when we print val, we will get the value 1. So let me run the code and show. Okay, just a second. Yes, exactly. What we are getting as the output is hello devs, hi, and then we are printing the value of val. That's why we are getting. So this is how we define a function firstly. Okay, the function, I hope function definition is clear to you all. So moving to the next topic of functions, what is that? Function with parameters and arguments. Okay, so what are parameters and arguments in the function? So here we have a function named adding. Okay, we have a function called adding. We have defined a function called adding. Now inside the parentheses of the function definition, we are giving a and b, these two variable names suppose. So a and b, what are these? These are actually called parameters. Okay, these are called parameters. A and b are parameters. Now inside the function body of adding, we are doing c equals to a plus b. So we are just summing it up. Okay, we are summing the two values a plus b and we are returning the value c, that is we are returning the sum. Now we are calling the adding function here. What are we calling it with? We are actually passing two numbers as data. Okay, we are passing these two numbers as data. Now these two numbers, that is 2, 3 are actually the arguments of the function adding. Okay, these are the arguments. So how are the arguments and parameters linked? Basically, the first parameter, that is 2, the first argument, that is 2, will be mapped to the parameter a. The second argument, that is 3, will be mapped to the second parameter b. So 2 will be mapped to a and 3 will be mapped to b. So whenever we are calling the function, this is how arguments are mapped to parameters. So whenever we are calling this, we will actually get the sum as 2 plus 3 because c is being returned, right? So add one variable will be assigned the value of c, that is 5. So let me run the function and run the code and see what's the output. Yeah, we are getting sum equals to 5. Okay. So this is how it works with parameters and arguments in functions. Everyone clear with this? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's
Thank
there.
Okay, thank you for responding. Now, moving on to the next topic, we have with us default parameters. So now, what are default parameters? Anyone? Anyone would like to answer? What are default parameters? Any ideas? Okay, so let me explain what are default parameters. So in the last code, we were providing it two arguments, 2 and 3. So it was also expecting two arguments because we had given it already two parameters. So the function knew that the user was going to give two values. But now here we have given a comma b, two parameters, but in the argument section, we are providing only one value. So this is the multi-function we have defined, that is basically doing the multiplication of the numbers given. Okay. So as the user has forgotten or have not provided the second value, what will this do is, firstly, the function, whenever we run this code, we will get an error. So we'll definitely say the argument for B is missing. Now to avoid that error, what we can do, we can set a default value so that even if we don't provide a value for B, it will automatically take the value 3 here. So how to assign? Just put an equals to and then the value that you want to be default. So this is the default parameter. So when we are not providing the argument for B, so it will directly take 3 as the default and it will return 1 multiplied by 3 because 1 is mapped to A and has the value 3 as default. So 1 multiplied by 3, we will get the value of equals to 3. Yeah, we are getting the product equals to 3. Okay, guys. So now one more thing, just remember that even if we provide it the value, so suppose I'm giving 1, 2, dividing it, then it will ignore the value that is default. Let me run it again. Now, yeah, so now we will get 1 multiplied by 2 and it definitely ignores the default value. So this is the concept of default parameters. So moving on, I hope this is clear. So moving on to the next code, what we have here is functions with parameters as tuples, sets and lists. So in the last session, I hope you all were there. So already Nivedita and Menakwe has told you what these data structures are, right? So in this part of the code, I will tell you that we can pass them, all these data structures, into the function arguments. So this is a set, this is a tuple, this is a list. So we can pass T1, T2, T3 inside the function argument. And the function parameter can directly take it from there. Okay. So suppose we have the parameter as K, and there are two ways for basically accessing and these. So we can do one thing, we can run a loop to check all the elements and then we can sum that up, or we can also use the sum function. So what is the sum function doing here? The sum function inside this function is actually a built-in function. So what are built-in functions? Built-in functions are actually built in from Python. So they are already defined. We don't have to define them. So what this will do is it will automatically sum up all the elements that is in K. So what is K having? K is actually we are passing the value of tuple or set or list. Okay. So it will have the values of 1, 2 and 3. So 1, 2 and 3 will be passed to K. So it will sum all the values as 1 plus 2 plus 3, that is 6. Okay. So when we return D, so we can basically do it in two ways. I have done it here in two ways. I have accessed it through a loop. So as you already know the concept of loop from the last session, so I'm not explaining that here. X, okay, so X will have the three values, X for X and K, that means it will have 1, 2 and 3. So sum function, what will it do? It will just sum it all up. It will sum all the elements. So when we return D or when we return C, because I have tried to do it in two ways, we will get the same value. So if we print it, let's see. We get that. Okay, 1 second. And the function 4. Yeah, we are getting sum equals to 6. So this is how we can directly pass tuples or list into the directly into arguments, and we can take it as parameters. So I hope this is clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Thanks. Okay. So on the next topic, what we have is function with arguments as dictionaries. Now we were dealing with, in the last code, we were dealing with tuple, sets and lists, but we have to do something extra for accessing dictionaries, because suppose this is a dictionary T4 and we are giving it keys and values, right? A will have is the key and value will be 2. B is the key and 7 will be the value. So keys and values. So if we directly do X for X in K, then we will get the values A and B. So they are not definitely integers. So the sum function cannot add it as integers. Okay. So what we will have to do to add these values, we will have to do K of X in K. What this line means is for X in K, firstly, we will consider this. Okay. For X in K, that will have the value A and B. So now when we do K of A in the first iteration, get K of A, that means we will get, and in the second iteration, when we get of this K of B, we will get the value 7. So we are using the sum function again. So sum will do K of A and K of B. So we will get 2 plus 7, that is 9. So let's run it. Yeah, we are getting sum as 9. Okay, so this is how we can work out with dictionaries too. So all the data structures are basically covered here. So now what we are going to do with the next topic, we have our multiple parameters. So are you guys clear up to this? I think dictionaries is also clear. Okay,
Yes.
okay. Thanks a lot for responding. Okay, thank you. Next, we have the topic of multiple parameters. Okay, so what are multiple parameters? Multiple parameters are really easy to work on with. Suppose we have the function 2 here, that is func2 here. We can provide any number of arguments here. So you can see I can provide 2 arguments. You can provide 5 arguments. You can provide any number of arguments here, 2, 5, 10, 15. Just one thing we need to do so that the interpreter can handle this. What we have to do, we have to put an asterisk or a star before the parameter name. So here we have the parameter name as K. Okay. So K is the parameter name. I am putting a star before it. What will this indicate? This will indicate that the user is providing multiple parameters, and the multiple parameter meaning any number of parameters. So we can give 3 arguments, we can give 5 arguments, any number of arguments. And similarly, the sum function will do the sum of all the elements inside K. Okay. So let me tell you what happens basically in the back end of this star K. What basically happens is whenever we are passing multiple parameters here, it will basically convert it into a tuple. Okay. So K will be converted into a tuple, and then we can just sum it up as a tuple. Like sum function will add all the elements inside the tuple. So this is how we work on with multiple parameters. Okay, so let me run it. Yeah, we are getting the sum equals to 8. That is 1 plus 2 plus 5, 8. Okay, so we are getting the correct output here. So moving on to the next important topic, that is function with keyword arguments as parameters. So I think this is a bit trickier than all of that before. So how to do this? Okay, what are keyword arguments exactly? So in this code, you can see I have defined a function here called func name. Okay, func name. Now I am calling the function func name here. Now inside the arguments, I am giving f name equals to Hermione and L name equals to Granger. Okay. So we are basically, this is the data, Hermione and Granger. That is first name is Hermione and last name is Granger. This is what I meant to do. So these both are strings. Okay. These both are strings. So now one thing you will notice here is the parameter name, f name and L name is same as these things. So what can we say here? We can say, thank you, Bhaiya. Yeah, f name is, what is this f name and L name? These are actually the parameter names. Okay, so what are these? So these are called keyword arguments. So keyword arguments are basically linking the parameter name directly to the data provided. Okay, we are linking the f name and the L name directly to the data provided. That is the strings or numbers, whatever data we are passing, we are directly connecting it to f name and L name as parameters. So now what we are trying to do here is, let me tell you why are we doing this? Why are we providing the keyword arguments? Why are we giving here F name equals to Hermione and L name equals to Granger? Why are we doing that? This is because we don't want ordering. We don't want the order to be followed. So in the last some few of the codes, let me go to function 2. Yeah. Here, what we were doing was 2 was mapped into A. So we were having the property that the first argument will be mapped to the first parameter and the second argument will be mapped to the second parameter. But suppose we don't want this. We want it to be on our basis. We want it to be according to us. Okay. So what we can do, we can use keyword arguments. Similarly, if we give F name in the first as the first argument, F name equals to Hermione and L name equals to Granger as a second argument, and even if we pass F name in the second parameter, then also it will do the job. Okay, so we are just linking the name, so there is no problem of ordering. So let me run the code and let's see what it prints. Yeah, it says name Hermione Granger. So this is what keyword argument does and how we can maintain the ordering according to us. Yeah, Abhas says Voldemort. Yeah, right. I did that too. Yeah, I am also excited about Harry Potter all the time. So great to see all of them excited about this. So next we have is arbitrary keyword arguments. So what are these? Arbitrary keyword arguments as parameters. So yeah, this is basically a total, you can relate this with the last code of keyword arguments, but we are just adding a word here, arbitrary. Why is that? Because we are similarly providing the keyword arguments and the data just similarly as we did in the last code. But in the parameter part, we are not giving first and second as parameter. Okay. We are giving some parameter name that is V here. So one more thing we are doing here, we are doing 2 stars. We are providing 2 stars here in front of it. So this will actually make it, this will how the basic arbitrary keyword arguments work. This will work like that. So now how to access the 1 and the 2 values, right? We have to access these to work on them. So we can actually work on them using as dictionaries. So see what is basically working on here, going on here in the background. We are basically having this converted into a dictionary. So when we do V of first, we are passing first as the index string. Okay, we are passing first as the index as a string. When we are doing V of first, we will get the value 1. And when we are doing V of second, we will get the value 2. So when we sum it up, so we are printing V of first plus V of second. So what we will get? 1 plus 2, that is 3. So let me run it. Yes, so this is the output that we are getting. We are getting the output as 3. So I hope this is clear with you all, the arbitrary keyword arguments and keyword arguments. I know this was a bit tricky or a bit different than the others. Is this okay with everyone? Hello? Okay. Thanks a lot for responding. Okay, yeah, let me move on to the next topic then. What I am having as the next topic is recursion. Okay, thanks, Pavan. So next topic we have here is recursion. Okay, so recursion, the basic recursion meaning, what is the meaning of recursion? It means the function calling itself or the function inside the function. So I am using the factorial, the famous factorial function to explain recursion. Again, many of you might already know this. So factorial function, okay. What is the factorial function trying to do here? We are trying to find the factorial of a number. Suppose we are doing fact of 5. Okay, we are trying to find the factorial of 5. So now factorial of 5, this means that this will firstly check the condition if n equals to 1. N, firstly we are providing n as 5 as we are calling the function with 5. Okay. So n equals to is not equals to 5, that is 5 is not equals to 1. So it will go to the else part and then we will get the return value. What we will get the return value as? We will get as n multiplied by fact of n minus 1. That multiplied by fact of 5 minus 1, that is fact of 4. So this is exactly what we will get when we will run it for the very first time. Now, as you can see, we are having fact of 4 here. 5 multiplied by fact of 4. So what this will do? This will all over again call the fact function. Okay. But now the n will not be 5. The n will be 4. So again, it will check if 4 equals to 1. It's not, it's false. So we will go to the else part. What we will get? We will get 5 multiplied by fact, multiplied by 4 multiplied by fact of 4 minus 1, that is 3. So this is what we will get when we run it for the second time. So this will be running up and until we get fact of 1. So this will continuously run until we get fact of 1. So we will get 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by fact of 1, because we will get fact of 2 minus 1 in the final iteration. So this is the recursion again. We are again calling the recursive function fact. So for now, it will have the value n equals to 1. So we will get the value of, we will get the return value as 1. And finally, we will have the statement, we will be returning the statement as 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. That is the basic concept of factorial. We will get the output as 120. So let me show you that. Okay, so we are getting the output as 120. So this is how the factorial function works. So I hope everyone is clear with the recursive function and how it works. Okay, thank you. Now I skipped one thing here. This was the part that I skipped. This is the pass statement. Yes, if you are having any doubts, please feel free to ask. You can unmute your mic. I would be really glad to help you out. Or you can comment down in the chat box, okay? Okay, so now I have skipped this part. This was the pass statement. So suppose you want to have a function that does not have a body, okay? We don't want a function body to be defined, but we just want the function to be defined. So what we can do, firstly, it will give an error if we don't give a body and we just define with the first line of function definition, it will give an error. But we can use the pass keyword to actually avoid that error, and the interpreter will ignore this function for now, and you can always come back and edit the function to your choice. So this is the how the pass statement or the pass keyword works. So this was all about functions, okay? So functions is almost done here now. We will be moving next with classes. But firstly, let me tell you, why do we use functions? Functions, basic use functions because we firstly modularize our code, okay? Functions help us modularize our code. Suppose I am writing a really long code that has all these things again and again, and I will not be able to easily recognize which part is doing what. So function is firstly giving us that authority, and we can do whatever we want, and we can call a function multiple times. So reusability is also more and more effective with functions. And now we will also have another advantage of recursive function, that is it reduces space complexity. So whenever we are calling the function from inside it, it reduces space complexity. So these are some advantages of functions. And yeah, this is all about functions, I can say right now. So next, moving on with classes. Okay. So guys, I think you all are clear with functions. Okay, thank you very much for responding. So now we will be moving on with classes. So in the PPT, let me show you. It's all there. Whatever I have just told, it's all defined here with the definitions. I will be providing everyone with the PPT after the session. You all can go and take a look at that if you're having any doubts. So now classes. What are classes? Classes, suppose let me take an example. Okay, we have our college classes, and in our college there are various departments. So why is our college having various departments and classes? To recruit or enroll students into them, right? They are having various departments and classes to have students inside them. So similarly, in the Python object-oriented programming concepts, we have classes. What are classes doing here? Similarly, we want it to have objects. What are objects? Objects are actually the relative topic, the relative thing to students, you can say. So we are saying that classes actually are there in our college to have students. So similarly, in Python, classes are there to create objects. So now this is the basic definition that classes are actually the blueprint for creating objects. Now what can be inside a class? Okay, what actually we are having inside a class? Inside a class we are having two main things. What are those two main things? First one is attributes. Second one is methods. Okay, so we are having two main things. First one is attributes and second one is methods. Now you will say, what are attributes? So suppose in a class we are having our own roll numbers, admission numbers, suppose names, all registered in the register or somewhere or some database. So similarly, these attributes are just like that. These are actually the properties of students or the objects. Okay, these are basically the properties of the object. So I hope you all got what are attributes. Now next thing we have here inside classes is methods. So what are methods? Methods are some things. Methods are basically functions inside classes. Okay, so methods are nothing but functions inside classes. Just now we have gone through functions. So whenever functions will be defined inside a function, we call it generally as methods. So this is the basic concept of classes. Now let me move on and show you how to create objects and classes. So this is how we define a class. This is the very first class definition. Okay, in the very first line, you all can see class students colon. What is this? This is the very first line of class definition. So firstly, we have to write the keyword class. Then we are writing the class name. Again, just like function name, class name can be any valid identifier. So here I have written students as the class name. Then we write a colon. So this is the very first line of class definition. After that, we have here the init method or the init function. Okay, what is the init function? See, I have defined the init function here. We have the def keyword, then the function name, then the parameters here, self, role name, and then a colon. So this is a function inside the class. Now what are we doing with the init function? So as you all can see, the init function looks a bit different than general functions. We were just using some common names, right? Func or adding or subtracting or multi, that type of names. But in this, we are just not using the word init. We are actually using double underscores in front and in the back. So what does this mean? What the double underscores in the front and the back mean? This means that this is a reserved function by Python. Why is it a reserved function? Because it will automatically call and initialize the object of the student. So if you guys already know C, C++ or some other language, programming language, you might know the concept of constructors. So this is somewhat similar to that. So the init function on creating the object will initialize the object with the name and the roll number. So the init function is a reserved function. So now in the parameters, I hope you all are clear with the init function. What the init function is doing? Yes, exactly, Pavan. It's similar to the constructor concept. it will automatically call it on creating object. So now in the parameters, we have three things: self, comma, role, comma, name. So what are these things doing? Okay, role and name, you all can suggest that, you all can get it, that here we are creating the object. Let me tell you this first. This is st1. st1 is a variable name. Okay, now to make it an object of the class students, what we need to do, we need to call the name students. Okay, we need to call the name students. We have to write the name students here. After that, in parentheses, we need to provide it with the roll number and the name. So suppose I'm providing the roll number. I'm providing the roll number as 3 and name as Jim. So this is how the object is actually created. st1 object is actually created. So now let me go back to the init function. What is the init function? We have three parameters, as I told. We have three parameters: self, role, and name. Now what is the self parameter? Self parameter is actually the parameter that is helping us to point the current instance or the current object. So whenever we are creating this object st1, self parameter, what will this do? This will actually point to the st1. So it will show the class or the interpreter that we are initializing the roll number and name of the student st1. Okay, so self parameter will point to this. Now the dot operator, what is this doing? We are using the dot operator to access the attributes. Now accessing attributes is okay, we can access with the dot operator, but actually what we are doing here is we are defining the roll number attribute here. The roll number attribute here is defined by this, defined like this. So whenever we do self.roll equals to roll, so we will get self.roll, that is st1's roll number will be assigned as 3 as given by the user. So this is, yes Pavan, this is what it is, and self.roll will actually assign or create the roll number as 3. So st1's roll number will now be 3. And similarly, self.name will be assigned as Jim. So st1's name will be Jim. So this is how we create on a class and its object. Okay, so this is how the init function works. This is how we provide it with the self parameter. And remember one thing, always whenever we are inside the function, we need to do self.roll, because then only it will know which roll number or name you're trying to access or modify. Okay, so we need to always remember that we need to do self.roll or self.name inside the class. So data manipulation. Okay, data manipulation, what is that? Outside the class, when we are doing st1.roll, we are actually changing the roll number from 3 to 1. So we can directly assign it. So the value from of the roll number of st1 will be changed from 3 to 1. Now when we print it, we will get the value as 1. And similarly, I'm printing here the st1.name. So I'm printing here st1's role and name. After that, I'm also creating another object here, that is st2. This is another student. I'm passing, similarly, I'm passing the roll number name. So 2 will be here, self.roll for st2 will be 2, and self.roll for self.name for st2 will be Mia. Okay, so suppose this is how we access and create students and how to modify their attributes. Okay, so I hope this is clear. What are classes and how can we define classes? What is the init function? Yes, Pavan, there is a data encapsulation. Okay, let me get the queries first. So as Pavan is saying, is there any private public type of scenario? Yes, we will be getting to that. Data encapsulation is also there in Python, and I will explain that in a few minutes. Abhilasha's question is, can we define only one init function or can we have multiple? So init function, as I told you, is a result function. So we can, inside one class, we are actually defining one init function. But when we are inheriting this, when I will be coming to the inheritance part, we will see that how can we have two init function and how can we actually, we will have one init function in a class, but we can access another class's init function in inheritance. So I will be getting to that too. Okay, Abhilasha? So moving on to the next topic. I hope this is clear to everyone else. Okay, yes. Yeah, just like C++. Okay, thank you. So next we are moving on to deleting attributes and deleting the whole object. How we delete attributes? Here again, I have created student st1. So it is an object of the class students. We are number one and name as Sheldon. Okay. So similarly, the init function will initialize it just like that. So st1's roll number is 1. This is Sheldon. I am 21's role and name here, as you can see. So now I wanted to delete, suppose I want to delete the roll number of st1. So now what will this do? How can we do that? We can do that by using this del. Firstly, we will write del and then st1.roll. What this will do, this line of code will actually delete the st1's roll number. So after this deleting line, if we delete it and then we print st1's.roll, let's see what happens. We will get an error. Okay, yeah. So this is student's object has no attribute role. So see, student's object, that is st1, has no attribute role. So that means we have successfully deleted st1's roll number. Now let me comment this out. Now how to delete the whole object? Okay, how to delete the whole object? I want to delete the whole st1 object. So just need to write del st1. And if I try to print st1's name after this, let's see what happens. Yeah, we are firstly getting the output because in the previous lines, we were printing st1's role and name. But after we are deleting the whole object st1, what we are doing is, what we are getting as the error, st1 is not defined. Up till line 14, we defined, but as we deleted st1 here, after that, if we try to access st1's name, we will not get it and it will give an error, st1 is not defined. So this is how we delete attributes and objects. Okay. After del, the memory will be free. Yes. Yeah, basically is that thing. We are just deleting the thing, and as you all know that the garbage collector is there, the concept. So it will take up the memory and we can free it. So now how, this is a really cool fact, how everything in Python is an object. Memory will be free. Yes, Pawan. So we are deleting that. That's why. So how everything in Python is an object. Moving on to the next topic. Pawan, is your query solved? Hello? Okay, let's move on with the next topic. So how everything is Python is an object. So this is a really cool fact that I wanted to share, that everything in Python is an object. So I'm just saying it, but how can I prove it firstly? So suppose let me create a class people. We are having a class people here. Now equal to class people. People here and person one is the object. So now on the next line, I am trying to print of 1. Okay, what is the type of 1? So as you all know, type will definitely give us the data type or the type of or the category of the given thing. So I am providing 1 is the argument here. So let's run it and see. Okay, Pawan. Yeah. So firstly, in the very first line of output, we are getting class int. Why is that? So what this basically means is 1 belongs to a class of int. That means everything in Python is actually an object. So 1 is basically object of class int. It belongs to the class int. Now if I print type of people, what we will get? We will get class of type. Now this is a bit weird. Why are we getting this? Because everything is coming from a class, because it's an object. Everything is coming from a class. Now,
Shiny, your screen
yes.
is top.
Okay. Yeah. Let me again reshare it. Okay, just a second. I will be rejoining. Hello. Can everyone see the screen now?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, you're visible.
Yeah,
Hello.
you can
Can
see.
everyone see this?
Yeah.
Um, Hello. Is everyone getting the screen,
Yes.
Yeah, it's
or should
visible.
I reshare?
Carry
Yes.
on.
I'm not able to hear anyone properly.
Yes, Shiny, it's visible.
Uh, just let me rejoin for one. Hello, am I audible now?
Yeah,
Yes.
you're audible. Yes.
Okay. So let's continue. So as I was saying, we were actually printing the type of one. So we got class of int. So that means it's it's an object of class int. Now when we are printing the type of people, it's showing me that class of type. This is a bit weird thing, but it's really interesting because this means that we are actually adding a new type of thing in this code. Okay, so it was already having the category of int, and we are actually adding a new type. So the new type is what? The new class. So the new class is the people. Okay, so we are actually adding the new type of people. So this shows that everything in Python is actually an object of some class. So, and also as you can see, I have printed the type of person one. So person one is the object of the class people. So it's showing that name dot people. That means it is an object of people. So the double underscore mean doesn't mean anything else. Just that it's a again it's a result name. So if you print the directory or something, you will get it that people is person one is the object of people class. Okay. So this is how it goes in Python. Now one more interesting thing. Function is also an object similarly. Suppose I print type of add. Okay. Print type of add. So this is a function here. So let me run it. Yeah, it's saying class of function. That means function that also the add function is also is in a category is an object of the class function. So this is how function is also an object. Now as I have done this already, adding two numbers 1 and 2. So this is how we go about functions, as I already told you. This is lambda function. We can actually directly assign functions to values, just like we are doing here. Similarly, we can also pass functions as parameters. Okay, we can pass functions as directly as parameters. For that, we need the lambda function. So what the lambda function will do? Suppose we are giving the parameters as b. And two variables of this. So whenever we will do x and inside the parentheses comma 3, this will actually return this. So this is a very basic example of lambda function, and we can easily pass functions. Basically, a and b is a function, and we are defining it, and it will return the value a plus b. So this is how lambda functions work. Yes, add is function, and it's actually the object of the class function. So this is basically what I meant to say here. You all got it. And so moving on to the next topic. Now we have here the inheritance, the famous part of inheritance. So basically what inheritance means, I'm just repeating it for everybody. So inheritance means inheriting something. So suppose we are inheriting our knowledge from previous years, or whenever we are getting promoted to the next class. So similarly, we are inheriting all the knowledge. Similarly, suppose I have a class all here. I have a class all here. So now it has some init function here, some print name function or method here, the change name method here. So whenever I'm inheriting the class all into another class, it will get all the, it will inherit all the attributes and the functions or methods into that class. So suppose I have another class here, student. Okay. So how to inherit a function? How to inherit a class into another? We just have to put parentheses after the class name, and then we have to mention the name of the class that we wanted to inherit from. Okay, so we want the class student to inherit from all. So this is how we actually come around with the inheritance process. So this will do, what this will do is it will actually inherit, it will make the student class inherit all the attributes and methods of the class all. So now here we have an init function in the class student. Okay, we have an init function here. Now we all have an init function out in the all class. Now you will see this is the name. This is the name attribute. Okay. So just like the init function in the previous case that I showed you how to work on with init function. Similarly, it's here. It's initializing the name of the object. We suppose have an object called s of class all. Okay. So it will initialize s name as the name of s as ABC. So all class name will be initialized like this. So, okay, little bit confusing, I know. Let me explain it totally what I am trying to do here. Firstly, let me, do that. And now let me repeat it. Class all, okay, class all. What is this? This is a basic class. We have some methods here. These methods are doing just nothing. They are just don't be scared by that. These are just doing something that I will be talking to you about later. Just ignore this part, the print name part and the change name part. We just focus on def init because we have an init function to initialize the object of all. Okay. So we are having the object of all here as s. S is an object of all. And when we are passing the ABC, the string ABC, it will actually initialize it as a name, just like this, self dot name equals to name. So this line will initialize ABC as s name, okay, s dot name. So this is how it will work. So now I want the class student. This is the class student here. I want the class student to inherit from the class all. So how to do that? After the function definition, after we write the name of the function, inside the parentheses, we need to provide the class name of the class that we wanted to inherit from. So I want the student class to be inheriting from the class all. So I need to mention the name of the class all. Okay, so I'm mentioning here all. So what this will do, this will make the class student inherit all the attributes and methods of class all. So though we are having here two different functions for the class student, we will also have in the inside the function, we will actually have all the attributes and the methods of class all. So student will have its own methods and attributes, and it will have all the methods and attributes of class all. So I hope this is clear now. Is it clear what I'm trying to say? How can we inherit? Okay, so this is how we inherit the classes inside another. Okay, so now as Abhilasha asked me the question a few minutes before, that if we can have double init functions inside a class. So the first answer is no, we cannot have double init functions because it is an, I told us the basic concept of constructor. So it will automatically call it. So if we have two init function, it will get confused. So we don't go into that. We only have one init function. But as you can see, I am doing something here with the init function. Now what is this? I have the def init function for class student. Okay. This init function will actually initialize the object of class student. So now what is this doing here? Why are we calling all.init? So let me explain that to you now. Suppose we have a S1, an object of class student, and I'm passing the name as Mia and the roll number is 1. So S1 is a object of class student. S1 is the object of class student, and now what we are trying to do with it, we are trying to initialize it. So how will we name role? Now, as you can see, this class is actually inheriting from all. So it doesn't have any personal attribute called name. Okay, it does not have. So to initial, it only inherits the name attribute from all. It does not have any personal attribute called name. It inherits the name attribute from all. So how to initialize that all classes? How to initialize that all classes name attribute? To do that, we need all.init. This means we are calling the init method of the all class. That means we are actually calling through this line of code, we are actually calling the init method inside all class. So when we do all.init, we are passing this we are actually calling this. Okay, so this is how we will actually initialize the name attribute, because the name attribute is not a personal attribute of class student. It's actually inheriting from the all. It's in the all class. It's not in the student. It's just inheriting it. So to initialize that, we need to do we need to do all.init method. We need to call it. So this will work just fine. But one more thing we can do instead of using this line is use the super function. Let me uncomment it. Both these lines will work just fine. They just work similarly, but there is a bit of difference. See here in the parameters, we were passing self comma name, so it needed the self parameter. But in the super function, it doesn't need the self parameter. It automatically initializes the attribute given in the all class. So in the super class, basically, that what the super function does. Super.init, and inside the parentheses, when we are providing the parameter as name, it will just initialize the name attribute in its superclass. So when we are giving the name, suppose as Mia, it will actually initialize the through the init method in the superclass or the parent class. What is the parent class here or superclass here? Here the superclass is all. So it will directly call the init function here. So we can do that by super function, or we can do that by the all.init method. Okay, I think my screen stopped sharing. Is my screen visible to everyone?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Just let me
No.
share.
No.
Yes, now is it visible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so this is how we initialize the student and we how to use the init function of the superclass or the parent class inside the init function of student class. Okay, this is how we go about it. And now in the last line, what I'm doing, okay, just let me comment this out so that you can see. Now what we are doing is self.role. So just like the previous codes, we are just assigning the code. We are assigning the roll number as given by the user to the roll number attribute of class student. So the roll number attribute is actually the personal attribute of class student, and the name attribute is not a personal attribute of the class student. It's just inheriting the name attribute. That's why we are actually calling the init method here from the all class. Okay, so I hope this is clear to everyone. Is everything clear here? Hello guys. Okay, so this is how we go on with it. Okay, so now let me tell you the concept of encapsulation. So you would have seen that in the name attribute, I have added 2 underscores here. So see, in Python, you will get the intuition that whenever we are adding double underscores, it's a bit different thing. Okay, it's not usual. So it's something important or something different. Okay, so whenever I am adding double underscores in front of the name attribute, what I am doing here is encapsulating the data. So the data cannot be easily accessed or manipulated by the user outside the class. So if we try, suppose S was the object of class all. Okay, S was the object of class all. So there is a function here or a method here that prints the name attribute from inside the class. But if we try to do print s.name from outside the class, if we try s.name and print it, we will get an error that there is no attribute. So the interpreter will say there is no attribute called name. But if we access it through the function, if we call the function print name, it will print self.name. So this will actually give us output the name attribute. That is, it will print the name attribute. Okay. So this is how we can actually encapsulate data. So double underscore means it's getting private or protected. So now this is how we encapsulate data. Just remember that you cannot put double underscores on both the sides, because then it will not work fine and the effect will actually cancel out. And what we can say, if we do that, it will be more like a reserved function or something. So just mention double underscores in the front and you will encapsulate your data. Okay, so this is data encapsulation. So I hope this is clear. Is data encapsulation clear with everyone? Okay,
Yes.
okay, great. So, okay, thank you for replying. Now, this is how we do data encapsulation. After that, okay, let me run the code for you to show how the data encapsulation works. So if I try to do print s name, we will get the error. All object has no attribute double underscore name. So one more little Pythonista trick you can say, that double underscores are also called dunder functions or dunder attributes. So dunder means double underscores. So that's a little thing that I wanted to say. Okay, so this is how we go on with data encapsulation. After that, why have you encapsulated data here? Okay, I have encapsulated data because I don't want it to be direct accessed or manipulated by some user. So if the user knows that we have some print name function or change name function, then he or she will access it through those functions. And if someone just comes here and just says I want to change name or change the roll number, he or she cannot directly do that. He has to go through the functions or methods and then change it. So the privacy is definitely increased here. And so this is, and there is also concept like private inheritance and how to do all that. You can research more on it because I will not be going that deep today. We don't have that much amount of time. So next, I will be moving on to polymorphism. So what is polymorphism basically? Here we have polymorphism. So in scope of polymorphism, it is basically providing a common interface. Okay. What is the common interface doing here? Suppose we have multiple objects, S1, S2, S3, S4, many objects we might have. So for each function, suppose we have to do a specific task again and again. So suppose I want to print the name and roll number for S1, S2, S3, S4 multiple times for multiple objects. Okay. So our lines of codes will increase. So what I have done here is I have just defined a function poly. And inside the function, I have parameter s. So parameter s is doing what is exactly? It's actually calling the name print name function and print roll function for me. And when we directly use poly of s1, poly of s2, then what we will get? We will actually be calling s1 dot roll print name and print roll. And then for s2, s2 dot print name, s2 dot print roll, so our lines of code are reduced here. This is how we can use polymorphism. And yeah, this is all about inheritance that we are going to cover. Okay, again my screen went off. Okay, just a second. Okay, sorry for that, guys. I don't know what's happening to my network all the time. I was disconnected for some time. Yeah, let me try to join again from my laptop. Okay, so is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, okay,
Yes, yes.
fine. Okay, so let me continue. Yeah, let me 1 second. I'm not getting the 1 second. Yes. Okay, I don't know why am I not able to see my screen. I hope you all are. So let's move on to
Yes,
the
it is
next.
visible.
Okay, then it's fine. As long as you all see it. So next topic is abstract classes. Just a second. Yeah, so next topic is abstract classes. So what are abstract classes? Abstract classes are actually template classes, okay? Now, to make an abstract class, we have to do something. We have to import this module, ABC. From ABC, we need to import ABC and abstract method module. So we need both these modules to make an abstract class, and the methods inside it, abstract methods, okay? So ABC is the acronym for ABC is the acronym for abstract base classes in Python. So let's define the abstract class. Now animals here is an abstract class. Okay, animals here is an abstract class. Now to make it an abstract class, you need to pass the parameter as capital ABC. So inside this abstract class, what we are doing is inside the class body, we are actually defining a function called legs. Okay. So what is this legs? We are not doing anything inside the function legs. We are just passing it. We are using the pass statement. Now to make legs an abstract method, we are using the decorator here @abstract method. I'm not going into decorators today. Just remember that using this, you will be actually creating legs, and you will be actually creating legs. The definition of the function legs, a abstract method. So why do we need this? We need this as a template, okay? When we inherit the class animals, we will actually be inheriting it into other classes, okay? So when we do that, we can redefine the legs function. Suppose human is a class here. I have inherited animals into, and cow is also a class. So it's just a funny example that I created. So we are actually redefining the legs inside it. So I'm really terribly sorry, guys. My internet connection is really poor right now. I don't know what happened. So am I audible to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So this is the abstract class animals, and we are inheriting the abstract class into humans, the class human and cow. Okay. So this is a really funny example, as I was saying. So what we are trying to do here is we are actually creating a template. Okay. We are creating this template. Then we can use this template into other classes. So we are redefining the legs function here and here. So for redefining it, we need to inherit the abstract class. One more thing in abstract class, we need to know that abstract class cannot have its own objects. Okay. If I create an object, suppose A of the class animals, so it will not work. Let me run it and show. So this is saying can't instantiate abstract class animals with abstract method legs. Okay. So legs is an abstract method and animals is an abstract class. So it can never have objects. It can only be inherited by other classes. So its basic function is to provide the template. And when we create the object of this human and legs, human, and call the function that is method legs, and when we create the C as the cow object and we call its function, then what we will get? We will actually get humans have 2 legs and cows have 4 legs. So exactly what I was trying to do here, I was explain you how can we inherit abstract classes and what are abstract classes. Now one more thing, there is a concept of concrete classes. What are concrete classes? They are complete classes. Their methods are complete. They are not like abstract classes. They cannot be abstract classes. In abstract classes, what we have incomplete methods. Okay. And in concrete classes, we have complete methods. So this is all about all I was trying to say in classes. So I hope it's all clear to you. Now we are going to the GUI part. So if you have no doubts, are you having any doubts? If you guys are having any doubts in any part of classes or functions, I can. Okay, great. Great. That you have no doubts. That's really great. Okay, Ashutosh is asking, what if I have to inherit class 1 to class 2, but don't want all properties of the class 1 to be inherited to class 2? Okay, so this is one thing that you might go on the internet and research this on your own, but I can hint you about what will happen. If you encapsulate the data, there are various functions about that. Okay, there are various things regarding encapsulation. If you research on it, you can look in some sites, you will get that how private things are inherited, and you can do that way. So there is no other way of actually selecting what you want to inherit, but you can obviously make the data private to reduce like the accessibility from class 2. Okay, I hope this solves your doubt. There is no proper way, but you can definitely do something like make the data private so that it cannot be accessed easily. And I think that will solve your problem. Is that okay, Ashutosh? Okay, great. Yeah, you can check on the web too. So on the next topic of GUI, okay. So what is GUI? First of all, GUI is the graphical user interface, and in Python, we use the tinctor module. So what is a tinctor module? Tinctor module is what helps us to, as Keshav also answered, you need to code in it that way. So if you don't want it to be inheriting, you can also do that way. So in the GUI portion, what we have is the total graphical user interface. So till now, what we were doing, we were just having our projects and our outputs in the console part, right? In the console or the terminal. So now we are actually transforming from that to the GUI. We will be having our own window where we will be having the total GUI interface. So for that, we need to firstly inherit. Inherit. firstly we need to import the tinter module. How to do that? From from tinter, what we will do? Import star. Okay, so from tinter, what we can do? Import star. What is this import star doing here? It's actually importing all the modules of tinter. So in our code. So now, okay, so now what we are doing here is we have to make a variable. Suppose I am giving the variable name as root. Now we need to call tk. So guys, I hope you all are on your PCs. So please put on your PyCharm editor, and we are doing this hands-on. Okay, I was explaining you all the classes and functions, but the project I'm doing is hands-on session. So you are all having the PyCharm editors with you, right? Okay, so please do the coding with me. So this is the hands-on session, the workshop I was talking about. We will be making this project here. So firstly, make the root variable and then assign it the tk function. What is the tk function? Tk function will actually be creating a window for us. Okay, it will actually be creating a window for us. Just like we have the PyCharm window, we will get our very own window that we will be using to put elements on screen. So now what we will do, we have the root window here. Root dot title. We need to do root dot title. We need to configure our window. So I am adding the title here as fizzbuzz. So what we are doing here in GUI today, we are actually making the fizzbuzz app. Okay, so last day on the last session of Python, you all were there, I hope. So you already know what the fizzbuzz game does. Or else I will also be revising that concept for you if you want. So we are making the fizzbuzz app. So my root.title should be fizzbuzz. So next, what we will do to configure it is we will call the geometry function. So we will write root.geometry, and in strings we will pass the width and the height. How to do that? Suppose I want a width of 1200, and then I will write x, and then after that, after x, I will write the height. I want a height of 1000, suppose. So what this geometry function will do? This geometry function will actually open our window in this dimension, that is with the width of 1200 and the height of 1000. So this is how our window will be configured, but until now we don't have it up and running. So to do that, we need to call this function root.mainLoop. So are you guys coding with me? Are you all having your laptops?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we will call the root.mainLoop. So now let's run the fizzbuzz app. So what do we get here? Yeah, we are getting a new window that's we are getting with the title as fizzbuzz. Now what we will be doing? We will be putting various elements on this window. Suppose text boxes, entry boxes, submit buttons, or any button, or suppose an image and background image. You can put anything on this window to make it more creative. So yeah, this is how we will go about making the window for us. Now root.mainLoop should be the very last line, because this will actually execute the window and pop it up in front of us. So now, firstly, I want you to download this picture. If you have the internet, please download a picture that you want it to be a background of. Okay, so you need to have a background picture. If you have it already on your desktop, just take that picture, the background picture, and add it in the same directory wherever you have the fizzbuzz app.py. This Python, wherever you have this Python code, please put the image there. So now we will be adding the main background image. So how to do that? Firstly, we will create the file name. This is a variable, and now I will be calling the photo image widget. Now what does the photo image widget do? this will actually store the image file in the variable file name. So what will we do? File equals to poster.png, because my image name is poster.png. You will write your image name. So after that, if you are having any doubts or any errors, please please comment down in the chat box. Okay, so file name should be equal to photo image, and inside it file equals to poster.png. After that, we need to create a label. So what is a label in Tinkta? Labels actually help us put various things on screen. Okay, label will be helping us put text boxes, images on screen. I will create, suppose, a back label, and I will call the label widget. Inside it, I will first pass the root parameter, and then what I will do is I will give it the image as file name. So this is what we will, this is the label that we are using to put the image on screen. So now what we will do, back label dot pack. So we can do basically three things. Three basic methods are there that I generally use to put something on screen. So the pack method is one of them. Pack method is the I think the least preferable for me, because the pack method directly puts the elements on screen. It just notices, and it's according to the Tinkta. Okay, it's not according to you. You cannot control where you are actually packing it. So the next type of method we might use is the grid system. In the grid system, we have a bit more control. So we can provide the row numbers and the column numbers where we want it to be placed. Okay, so suppose I want it to be at row 0, column 0, I can do that. Then if I want to have some other element, suppose a text at row 1, column 1, like that. But still it's not that effective, I think. So the final method is my preference, that is the place method. Back label dot place. Okay, so what we are doing inside the place method, we can actually give coordinates. So in terms of x and y. So it's the most preferable. So I'm just commenting these out so that we are only using this for now. So when we do this, what will it do? It will just add the background image starting from the x equals to 0, y equals to 0. That means on the very left corner, starting from the very left corner. So let me run it and see if my background image is up. Yeah. So this was my background image. So it's up and running. So everyone, yeah, okay. So is everyone having this? Whoever are coding with me, did you get this output? Hello?
Yeah, we're getting.
Yeah. Okay, great. So this is the background image is set. Now what we will do, we will add labels. So in the fizzbuzz game, we will be requiring two main things that we need from the user, that is the range. This game is what? Let me revise it for you. If in range, suppose I am providing it the range of 1 to 5, and it will give me the output. If the number is divisible by 3, we will get the output as fizz. If the number is divisible by 5, then we will get the output as buzz. And if it's divisible by both 3 and 5, we will get the output as fizzbuzz. So this is the basic fizzbuzz concept. So now let me tell you what we will be needing. We will be needing two entry boxes and 3 labels. So 4 labels. One label will say welcome to fizzbuzz. One label will say enter the range. One label will say from, and the 4th label will say to. So let me create these labels. So suppose LBL1 is a label 1, label widget, root. Okay, you might notice that what I am doing here is I am just mentioning the root window here. Why are we doing this? We are doing this to avoid confusion. So if we do this, and if we have two simultaneous or multiple simultaneous windows running on our code, then it will not be confusing for us, and we will know that we are placing this on the root. So whenever we are doing root, the interpreter will place it on the root, and if we change the name to some other Windows name, then it will place it on that window. So we are having only one window here, so it won't be a problem if you don't provide the root parameter, but it's best practice to provide it. Okay. So next we will be giving it the text of welcome to fizzbuzz. So now one more thing I will be adding here is font. Font, there's a popular font called Helvetica. So Helvetica, and I will be giving it a font size of 60 because I want it to be a big message on the very top. So let me do that here. So font is set. Now I will be adding some pad X and pad Y. So what is this? We are just adding the padding here on the X axis and the Y axis. Okay. And you can also add width, but I'm not adding width as because we already have the padding here. So this is all I will be doing in this. So now let's place it. Label 1 dot place. Suppose I want it to be at X equals to 450 and Y equals to 100. So you will get more intuitive as you use Tinker more and more about the coordinates. So let's use this for now. Yes, so we are getting the welcome to fizzbuzz text on a bit right. So I need it to be moved a bit. So let me move it to 400. Okay, so now, okay, I think it should be 350 so that it's in the center. Yeah, it's in the center now. Our message is loud and clear. So now after this, I want it to have the labels of enter range from and. So I will be just copying this template and then modifying it. So label 2, label 3, and label 4. Okay, so this should be the message enter range. Then the font should be reduced to suppose 20, and I'll be adding the width of, okay, let me do this as 25, and I will be adding the width as 20. So similarly, reducing the font size here to 25, and this should be the from. The width should be here, suppose I'm giving it 15. So now next what we will do, here we have to do 2, from and 2. Reduce the size of the font, add the width as 15. Okay, so this is, now I have to place it at different positions. So I was placing it at 350 y equals to 100. Now I will be placing it, suppose the x coordinate is same. I just need to move it a bit down, the y. So it will be, suppose I'm doing this as 400, and the y should be equals to suppose 300 and 400. Okay, now let's see what's happening in our window. Let's run it. Okay, so the enter range is overlapping with the welcome to fizzbuzz. I need to move that down. So we need to do 250 suppose, and this to 330. Yeah, I think this will be working fine now. Yeah, okay, so the width is not set here as, okay, I did not do this. Yeah, the Helvetica font should be 25 and 25 to match the size. Okay, enter range, from and to. The labels are ready. Now what do we have to do? We have to create entry boxes. Okay, so to create entry boxes, suppose I am doing ent1, that is the entry box 1, and I'm calling the widget entry. Inside the widget, firstly place the parameter root. Then we will be giving it the same font as all of them else. We were using the same font as the others. So the font that we will be typing into the entry box will be this. Okay. So I'm also setting the width as suppose 20. And then I'm placing entry 1. I can also provide border width here. Okay. There is also the aspect of border width. So suppose I'm providing it with border width 4. It will look good. Now I will do place and 1 dot place. Suppose I need it to be on the same line as from. So the y-axis will be, the y coordinate will be same. We will just be moving the x coordinate. So x should be equals to suppose 600 and y should be equals to 330. Or I can do 340. So let's see if it's working fine now. Okay, so we are getting it overlapped. So let me just move it to the right. Let me do it 650. Will it work now? Let's see. Okay, need to move it a bit more left. Let me do it 750. Yeah, now it's coming fine. So similarly, we will place the next entry box for entering 2. I will just copy this and 2, just change the name. And now the y will be equals to suppose 410. Okay, yeah, we are getting 2 entry boxes here. So when we open the whole app, we will get entering from 2. So we can enter our from and 2 integers here. So now we will be needing a little box here for submit button. Okay. So let's create the submit button. How to create a button? Let me name it button 1. Then call the widget button. So now I will be again passing the root parameter. And then what we will be doing? Text equals to submit. So it will show as the submit button. After that, I will just copy the other parameters. Suppose I'm giving it width of something and font and pad X and pad Y. So let me do that here. So I will reduce the width to 10 and yeah, the font should be reduced to 20 suppose. Then I am placing button 1 place at suppose X equals to 850 or suppose 1000 I will do. I think it will be taking more space and Y equals to 400 or yeah, 400 will be fine. So let's check it, how it appears. Okay, so it's overlapping with this. So I need to move it to the right and a bit up. So let me do it to 1100 and move it 350. So let's see now. Okay, it's still overlapping. So I need to move it to, okay, I can also do one thing here. I can reduce the width to 5. I think this will also work. Okay, so the width is reduced. Now I need to move it. Okay, I'm going to do it 1200. So this is how we experiment on everything and we get it as a submit button here. Okay, I hope you all can see this. The submit button is ready, but it does not perform any work for now. So to make it work on something, we have to, what do we have to do? We have to do command equals to submit. So what does this command parameter do? Okay, this will actually call a function called submit function. Now we have not defined the submit function yet, so we will be defining it right now. So on the very top, I will be defining the submit function, def submit. What will this submit function do? It will actually get the input from the entry boxes. So we will be needing 2 variables. I'm declaring it as global variable because we will be using the variables outside the submit function. So I will tell you why are we doing that. Firstly, let's code global FRM, that is from and to. These are the two variables I'm declaring. Now from will have the value of, I'm just typecasting ent1 dot get. What is ent1 dot get doing here? We are getting the value from the integer box, entry box, and we are converting it into integer because it will be entered as a string. So then we will be converting it into integer. So then after that we are doing 2 equals to int of ent2 dot get. So this will get from the second entry box. So this is how we will work and get the values of from and to. Now I'm also declaring a global list. Okay. Why are we using list here? I will be using this li list to store all the outputs in range. So suppose I have the range of 1 to 5. So for 1 we will have the output as none because it's not divisible by 3 or 5. So if we have if we want the output of suppose 3, it will give the output as fizz. So we will store all these outputs inside the list li. Okay. So that's why. And we also will be going to use this outside the submit function. That's why I'm going to declare it as global. So now let's work on the loop to produce the outputs for I in range FRM to 2 plus 1. So I hope you all guys are coding with me right now and you're doing the same things and getting the same outputs. Is it fine with everyone? Should I move forward? Anyone having any doubts? Okay. So now this is fine. We are doing from I in range from to 2. From 2 plus 1. Now what we are doing here is we are looping all the elements. So if I mod 5 equals to 0 and I mod 3 equals to 0, li dot append fizzbuzz. Then elif I mod 3 equals to 0, then li append fizz. Then elif if I mod 5 equals to 0, then li dot append buzz. And if it's none of them, then else li dot append none. So this is what creating our and appending into our list. So our outputs are ready. Okay, our outputs are ready, but we don't have it on screen. We are just having the outputs inside the list. So for that, we will be calling a function fizzbuzz. We have not defined it yet. We will be defining it. So we will be calling the function. Now I will be providing it with the argument of 0. Why am I doing that? Because whenever we will be defining the function fizzbuzz, we will be actually using the list index. So as the first call of fizzbuzz will be starting from 0, that's why I'm providing the argument as 0. So now let's define the function fizzbuzz. Def fizzbuzz. Then I'm giving it the parameter name as I, suppose. Now what we are doing here, we are actually want to have two labels. One label will actually it will put the name, the number, and one will put the output from the list. Okay, so one will give the number, suppose 1, and another label will give the output. Suppose one's output is none, so it will say none. So we will have two labels. Suppose labl, let me change the name, labl1 equals to I will call the label widget again, then root, and then text will be equal to li of I. So that means it will be having the very first output in the list. Okay, so after that I will be just copying all the these things, font and padding and width. Let me copy that up to here. Okay, so the font is same. Now width should be, suppose, yeah, 15 is okay. Now the text is defined. Now we just need to place it. Label one dot place. Suppose I wanted to have 350 and y equals to 800. Okay, let's see if this runs properly. Okay, submit function, I think, yeah, I defined it wrongly. I just mistyped it. Submit. Now let's see if it's working. Yeah, we are getting this. Now let me input 1 and 5. Okay, there is an error. Okay, we have not defined anything, right? So let me, yeah, we have not placed it correctly. So let me do it. Y equals to 600. I think this will be fine because it was y equals to 800. What it does is it's actually making the y go beyond the screen that is visible. So 1 to 5, then submit. Yeah, we are getting none here. So just need to push it to the right and everything else will be fine, I guess. So let's make it 550. Okay, so I think this will be okay. Now I need to create another label that will actually give the number that this li of I will be the output of. So what is that number? It's actually str. I'm type converting it. So str from plus I. Why are we doing that from plus I? Because I is having values 0 to all the indexes of li and from is the very first integer. So we will just be adding that and we will be getting the numbers. So this is fine with it. I just need to do this. Y equals to 650, not 700. So this will firstly put the output as none and then on the next label it will have 1 because 1 has the output none. Okay, so this is the two labels. Now I just need to change the name to label 2. After that, what we will do, I will have two buttons working to traverse from inside to or outside the range. Okay, in the whole range, we will be having two buttons. Okay, my PyCharm crashed and I then lost track of the code. Someone please. Okay, yeah. Ashutosh, we will be providing you with the codes and you can work on this or you can make your own app too later. Okay. So if for this we are creating two buttons that will actually traverse through all our outputs on click. Okay, so for that we need three conditions. If I plus frm equals to frm, that means the number, if the number is the very first integer, then the left button will be disabled. So we need to do that. So suppose button 1 is already there. So button 2, I'm calling the button widget. Okay, so the button widget is here. We need to call the root parameter. Then what we will do, we will give it the text of left sign, like the left arrows or less than. So after that, it will have these things. I'm just copying it again. So font is same, pad x, pad y, width, suppose I'm doing it 10. So this is our button and yeah, it will work fine. Now we need to place it first, button 2 dot place. So we need the button left to the labels. Okay, so we will be giving x equals to suppose 400 and y equals to 600. Okay, so this will be okay. Now we will define the state as disabled because in this condition the function won't the button will be disabled because we cannot move to the previous integer because this is the very first integer in range. That's fine. So button 3, let me create another button that will be the right button. So let me just paste it and I will modify so that I don't have to write all the code again. Yeah, so button 3. So here the button text will be different, that is greater than greater. Now this state will not be disabled here. The right button will work fine. What will we do here? We will actually give it the command of lambda. We are using the lambda function here. Look here. So we will be doing lambda of fizzbuzz. Lambda of fizzbuzz. Then in the parameters, I will be passing I plus 1 because this will go to the next integer, and then it will again call the whole fizzbuzz function and print the labels and the buttons. Okay. So again, this is the basic button. Yeah, this is okay. So I need to make it suppose 700 or 800 at x equals to. So another condition that we need is if I plus from equals to 2. That means if the integer is the very last integer in range, then the right button will be disabled because we don't have any numbers after that. So that's why. So let me copy all this code. This will be just the same. Okay, this will be just the same as that. So just need to interchange these. Okay, we just need to interchange these. So the state disabled will actually be here. Right function will be disabled and the command will be for the left function. That is the left button. So I will be pasting it. And the command will actually be I minus 1 because we will be moving the left integer that in range to the previous integer. And if so, I need to I need to put an elif here, not an if, because we will be checking it for if, elif, and then else. So then again else, if none of these conditions are there, so what we need to do? We need to be active on both the buttons. So let me do that. The command here. Okay, yeah. So the command will be here, and here also we won't have anything called state equals to disabled because both the buttons will be active. So let me copy this, and in this command I will do it I plus 1 because it will make it to the next integer in range. So these are the buttons now, but now I have to run this, okay, to make sure that everything is working fine. I think, yeah. So let's run it. What are we getting? Okay, we are getting the fizzbuzz app. Submit. Okay, so as you can see, I don't know if you're able to see this, but we have none and 1 here. Okay, and I need to reduce the size and move it a bit up so that it is properly fits in screen. And I need to reduce the width of the buttons. This is all I can do, but everything else will be just fine, I think. So just let's do that. Need to move this a bit up. So let me do it to 500, 500, 500, 500, same 500. And this also the labels will be moved up to 550 and this will be moved up to 500. I'm just reducing 100 spaces, suppose, in the y-axis. And now in the, yeah, I think let's do this and check wherever this goes. 1, tab 5. Yeah, submit. Okay, so we are having this none 2, none fizz as 3. Whenever we are getting the 3 input, then we will have the fizz, none as 4. And when we are getting as 5, the right button is disabled and the output is buzz on 5. And the left button will be disabled at 1. Okay, so this is how the whole process works. So now let me just reduce the button width so that it looks a bit better than that. And I need to move it a bit left, suppose 300. And this should be also moved to the right. So I need to do it, suppose 1000. You can always do this, like this is the basic of Tinker, right? So we are getting creative. So we can place anywhere we want to make it look more good. So yes, 1 and 5. Okay, so if we just have more gaps, we need to modify that. But basically it's working. Okay, I did not change on the second. Okay, 1500, 1500, and the labels. Width 10, width 10. Okay, width 5. That's why it was getting me the error, giving me the error. So I need to change this to 5, the width. Yeah, this should be 5. Okay, is my screen not visible? Okay, yeah, just let me reshare. Just a second, guys. Yeah, I'm resharing, Rajesh. 1 second. Yes, 1 second. I'm just connecting my laptop again. I think it's some network issue. 1 second. Really sorry for this. This is some network issue I'm getting. Just a second. I'm just rejoining. Okay.
Hello, guys.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I hope you all guys are excited to get the winners to be announced.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so let's start.
Yeah.
Session is not in.
The third position
Aman,
goes.
session is not in. I
Yes.
think. Session is not in.
Let the winner to be announced. Then we will continue.
Yeah, go ahead. You
Okay.
can announce.
The third position goes to Rajesh Chandra Shah. Congratulations, Rajesh. And the second position goes to Gaurav Agarwal. So Alok, go for the winner.
So the winner is Aman. Could you present the screen?
Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah,
So the winner is Shanta Paul from IT.
congratulations.
Shanta Paul, would you like to say something?
Thank you so much. And
So how was the question?
the question were very interesting. And
Which
the
one?
yeah. And the last day's question was very was related to Excel, not related to programming, I think.
That was related to Excel. So,
Yeah. So
so
that
you
was
are doing a
much
data
confusing.
science. It's not a programming based. This is all the questions are general based question.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a basic question. I think it's not a Excel sheet or anything. It's a basic question.
It is related to data science, right?
Not data science. Actually, it is a basic. You have to know about the
Oh, okay.
different types of graphs and all.
Okay.
So when you are entering the data science, you have to use the spreadsheets and all. You have to know about the statistics.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
Shiny, now you can continue. Yeah, it was almost done. I was just changing the width. Yeah, that was all. So let me just finish. Congratulations, by the way, to everyone who are the winners.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, is my screen visible right now? Yes. Okay. So this is what I was doing. 1, 2, range 5. Submit. Yeah, we are getting this, this, and this. So we are getting the disabled button here, and we are getting all the outputs according to us. We can give any range and we will get the fizzbuzz output. So this is our fizzbuzz app, and this was the basic GUI application. There are new things in Python Tinker that you all should go and learn from the internet. I have done that from myself too. So there are many things that I couldn't include in today's session because of the timing. But really, there is many things that there are many modules that you can use to make your app more and more cool. So that's all. So is that clear to everyone? Is anyone having any doubt? You can please ask them. You can unmute your mic or please ask them in the chat box. If you're having any doubts in the fizzbuzz app, in classes or... Okay, thank you, Pawan. Really. Thanks for being interactive to everyone. Thank you very much. I really was excited. I was really excited for this session. Thank you, Shweta. So certainly that will be all from me. Thanks to everyone for joining in. Really, thank you. I will be providing the PPT and the codes to everyone in the WhatsApp group. So you all can go visit that. Thank you very much. You can take over now.
Okay, so I'll try to contribute on the GitHub because you will get amazing something. It will actually surprise. I will say now. So try to contribute, okay? And I think we can conclude here. If you have any doubts, then ask or you can leave. Thanks to all for joining.
Yes, Shanta, I will be providing the code. Yes, Rajesh, I will be providing the code. And if you are having any doubts, please feel free to ask them, okay, in the WhatsApp group, or you can contact me.
Form link is given or will give it to the WhatsApp also.